everyone, how is everyone doing today? Let's do a little, turn this down a little. Hi, how's everyone doing today? It has been an age and a half. Oh, it has been an age and a half since I have come on here. And by age and a half, I mean it's been a week, almost exactly. Hello, Oster. Hello, Mochi. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Hold on. Close this real quick. Just for the ambiance, for the atmosphere. So how is everyone doing? How has everyone's weekend been? How's everyone's week been? I shall suffer tomorrow by being tired, but it is worth it. Oh no, I hope you don't suffer too much. To be fair, I think I will also suffer tomorrow from being tired because I'm also going to make bad decisions and stay up way later than I should. I shouldn't, but I will. And yes, so some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard. What's tired? Yeah, some of you may have heard. I won a couple awards this weekend. And that's really cool. I won things. How's a 2-time gold medal champ? Oh, so good. I cried in front of hundreds of people on a live stream, and that's great. Certainly a good time. A bunch of people have messaged me both like during and after the event like, oh, you made me cry too. I'm like, oh no, I'm sharing the tears with everybody. Oh, over 1,000? Oh no, that's even worse. You cried too? Oh my gosh. That was just I was very overwhelmed with emotions. Like I was sitting in that green room like convincing myself in my brain like they're not gonna call my name. They're not gonna say me. It's gonna be someone else. Like, oh, it's gonna be Tillers. It's gonna be Stormburl. It's gonna be like literally anybody other than myself. But no, then they're like, oh, ink-stained map of Melkora by Strixline. I'm like, who? Who is this? Yeah, so it was a good time. I got all my tears out for that first one, and then they called the second one. I'm like, ah. Oh my gosh, and shout out to literally everyone who threw a vote for me in the especially in the Most Beautiful World one, because of course that one was a dead tie, apparently. It's crazy. So every last single vote, like down to the one, made a difference. Like that counted. That got me a win. So I'm really glad I hunted down a couple people like, hey, did you vote yet? Hey, did you vote yet? No. So yeah, I really appreciate it. It also gets you this.
Refresh yourselves.
Time, of course. Thank you very much. I know when Mr. Moshpit Monk comes around, it's always gonna be sippy time. So yeah. Hearts for you. And so yeah, now we just kind of have to decide where do we go from here? Because I feel like I've set the bar now pretty high for myself. The bar is high for me. The bar is high for everyone else looking at me like, all right, what's this crazy creature gonna do next? And the answer is, I don't know. So I'm hoping by the end of this stream, I'm gonna have at least a couple ideas. I do have a couple ideas. I have some things that I want to do, some things I want to work on, some things I've already vaguely chatted about with other people in different various chats. Yes. Oh. And yeah, one. If you're
Refresh
Discord,
yourselves.
Hang out. Oh, thank you. Hello. Oh gosh, you guys are gonna start chaining them now.
Refresh yourselves.
And so yes, if you either hang around my Discord server or there's like a couple other Discord servers that this has been like a little recent topic in, like I want to. It's out of stock. What do you mean it's out of stock? That cannot be a thing.
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. Shiffers, you have a question. What is
Refresh yourselves.
The best what in my world? Uppies? Uppies like climbing uppies?
Refresh yourselves.
Oh my god, you guys need to stop. Oh, the best climbing in my world. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Refresh yourselves.
I'm not gonna be able to talk about my world if you guys keep making me take sips. Celebration sippies, thank you.
Refresh yourselves.
Ah, this whole stream is gonna be having lots of sips. Yeah, that's how half of my streams go these days. I'm not upset about
Refresh
it.
yourselves.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys are nuts. Yeah, Shivers, how
Refresh
dare you
yourselves.
ask about uppies in my world? When you have not uppied with us in the real world in so long.
Refresh
Oh my God, you
yourselves.
I love you guys. Truly I do. We're trying to have a little discussion here. Overhydration. Listen. Refresh the bird. Yes, we must refresh the bird. I will confess, I have not been drinking very much water recently, so it's not a terrible thing that you guys are making me sip so much, but I digress. But yeah, so one of the things that I have been thinking about, something I want to do for my world, is try to nail down an art style for what I want to present my, like, all my images, my ideas, how I want to get those out there and have them on my world presentation. And one of the things I've been kind of like staring at, looking at.
Refresh yourselves.
Yeah. One of the things I've been staring at, like inhaling with all of my being right now, is pixel art. And not just any pixel art, I mean like dark fantasy, think like Dark Souls fan art, pixel art. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really dope for my world, actually. I'm here to be an inconvenience. Do not. Do not inconvenience, please. Okay, I'm just, let's see.
Refresh yourselves.
All the refreshies. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna pop you guys over here. Oh, that's Streamlabs cutting into my, little window there. Anyway. So you see, like, pixel art over here. We got, like dark fantasy, like, literal Dark Souls fan art. Like, it's really cool. It's really beautiful. But here's the thing. Never in my life have I done pixel art before. Not that that in itself is necessarily, like, a hard stopping point for me. Like, I'll try it. I'll give it a go. But it's one of those things, like, I would have to learn how to do this. And then maybe start making basically everything. And like this classic image here, my face is like covering it. But yeah, like dark fantasy, Dark Souls, like Dark Souls-esque, essence of Dark Souls pixel art. So that is kind of, my world is not intended to be as dark, but it should have its moments in which it can be. Just kind of like that vibe, that pixely vibe. It's very cool. Again, I just need to learn how to do the pixel arts. It is not something I've ever done, attempted, or practiced. With these fancy little sprite dudes. These would be so fun. Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of like the big thing that's cooking in my brain. Pixel art looks so difficult. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that's like deceptively difficult. Like sometimes, like you might look at it and be like, you know, like there's not a lot of pixels in here. There's not a lot of detail, you know what I mean? But you have to get really good at putting all the detail that you want to convey into like a very tiny canvas. Like there's no room for detail, really. Everything that you want to show people has to fit in this tiny little frame. And if you can't, yeah, if it's hard to convey the correct features in pixel art, exactly. It is a difficult thing. But it's really, really, really cool when people do it right, you know? And so I would love to just have stuff like this going on. It's really cool. Look up Metal Slug for pixel art stuff. Oh, let's see. For pixel art stuff. Let's get it over here. Got Metal Slug. Me starting larger bit scale, going smaller is better. I don't know, I can't art. Listen, it's just something to experiment with. Because even as far as pixel art is concerned, there's so many different ways to do it. Like you can have kind of, oh, let's see if we can pull up just gonna grab because of course we have the oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. Because we have like, you know, we have Stardew Valley, classic, beautiful, bright, cute, like not heavy on the detail. Like there's not a crazy amount of stuff going on in here. It's like it's so pretty. It's pretty and it's bright. And let's see. Oh no, not this. Do not this. And of course we have the game that I've been playing a lot of, which is Graveyard Keeper. Let's see, we got see like this game screen, like it looks a lot more, there's like a lot more detail piled in. So it's you know, like higher resolution essentially. But it's still pixel art. It is most definitely still pixel art. It's just a lot more detailed. So I could go for like really like detailed pixel art. I could go for really simple pixel art with not a ton of pixels per image to work with. You know what I mean? Like it can be like all over the place. Off to run errands. Have a good stream. Love y'all. Bye, shiffers. Thanks for stopping by. Stardew, more like Starpoo. Do not speak ill of my game like this. I love Stardew Valley. But yeah, so as far as art is concerned, since of course, like, okay, like I won the award for Most Beautiful World, but I'm not, like, I personally am not totally happy with the aesthetics of my world overall. I'm very happy with the CSS. Like, I'm in love with how I've laid out the world, but I don't think I have enough pictures in there. Like, I don't, like, on a per article basis, I don't think that I have enough imagery in my world. I don't think I have enough of, like, all of that. And so I want to add more. But I want it to be in, like, a consistent style. I want you to be able to kind of, essentially, I want to be able to give someone a piece of art from my world and then have people be like, oh yeah, I recognize that. That's like the art style that this person's world uses. Like, yeah, I want that kind of vibe going on. And so I want to kind of pick an art style and I want to stick with it. It doesn't have to be exactly that art style in everything I do. By all means, I can definitely like change it up sometimes, just throw in some random stuff here and there. But yeah, I don't want things to be like so drastically different between each piece that it's like I just sat down and decided to draw this one thing one day and then do something completely different another day. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can't figure out what we want that to look like. And Mochi says, I absolutely love the art on the art style on the birds you made. I really do too. I do like that style. It's intentionally very sketchy. Like it was just kind of scribbled in a book. It is very cute. And like that's another thing. Like I really love kind of like hand-drawn styles. I love opening articles and seeing something that looks like it could have come out of like a physical like bestiary that someone had like in a book and they like drew everything hand illustrated. Draw a dark wizard? Maybe. There may very well be dark wizards in my world somewhere. It is very possible. But yeah, if we're gonna talk about the birds, let us peep upon the birds. So here we go. We got these birds, all right? There he is, my handsome little boy. My little pigeon. So yeah, like art that looks like this, I also really like. It's like that sketched look. It's just like someone took a piece of paper and some colored pencils and just like scribbled this in, and I took those pages and I pasted them into an article. I like that. It's really fun, it's really cool. It's what I did all last month. But then, oh gosh, I need to see if I can pull up an example of the art that I'm thinking of at this exact moment. Ooh. You know what else I also really love? We're gonna pop this open in a new tab. We're gonna do this. Like, look at this. Like, art like this. Also very cool. Back when I was more of like a traditional artist out there, I used to do a lot of heavy ink work, like black and white, high contrast. And sometimes I'm just like, oh man, I should go back. I should go do that again. These kind of black and white illustrations. Let's see, I was looking at a whole thread of these. Here we go. We're on the Twitter now. So look at these things. These are very cool. I'm a big fan. Like this kind of landscape. Very cool. Oster, welcome back. And yes, the scamp was indeed on the screen. I love this guy so much. I appreciate everyone who was here watching me bring him to life. He's a very sweet boy. But yeah, so I'm torn in so many ways. Because there's so many art styles to choose from. So many that either I have dabbled in, have not dabbled in, like pixel art. And like, why are there so many good options out there? Why is there so much? Why is art difficult? I don't understand. Also, ooh. Alright, so let's see some of this here, shall we? Look, like this piece right here by Dominic Mayer. Beautiful, stunning. You know, like sometimes I'm just like, maybe I want to stick with like a painterly kind of vibe.
Refresh yourselves.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Oster, but you see, if I go with my heart is pulling me in all these different directions. Eventually, of course, I will settle on something that my heart is like, yes, this is right. But for right now, I'm just surrounded by all these options that I could choose from, and that I really like all of. They are very cool. Ooh, let me see if I can pull up. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if this is Well, you know, hold on. Oh, that's not good. No, we're not doing that. Oopsie. Oh, this is like a picture with a meme attached. Ah, you know what? It's a relatable meme, but the main focus here is the picture. Like, look at, like, I like this art style. This is cute. Like, very lined. Like, isn't that cute? Kind of like inspired like Slavic folk art. So I do also want my world to have like a pretty, I'm not gonna say like strong, but kind of strong Slavic influence. I don't know how to respond to that meme. Yeah. It's relatable. I mean, you find this stuff on Google and it's like attached to the thing that you actually want to look at. Just hee hoo. True, right? Yeah, let's see. We got this right here. Ooh. Let's look at this. I think my heart is speaking to me right now, and it is kind of deciding that I do want to do something that's kind of heavy on line art. And something like this is kind of exactly that. Like it's very heavy on line art. Everything's all lined out, but it's also very simple. There's no like crazy shading or anything. It's mostly just like blocked in colors, you know? Line art because you're line. Yes, that is true. That joke has been made many a time. But yeah, like art, honestly. All right, so the pixel art was a great idea, but the longer I look at this, the more I'm like, yeah. Yes, please. So, you know, I'm gonna bookmark this one. I don't know who did this or where it came from. I just kind of found it on the Google. I'm gonna have to do some research. Russian fairy tale book. But I do not know who the artist is. Like, where did you come from? Imagine that in pixel art. Ooh, true. That could also be very, very interesting. Kind of like a mix of the styles. I'm liking it. This is what we're here for. Idea crafting, theory crafting. But yeah, going with my heart. So what this all boils down to, everything that we have just discussed, is my main goal is to like nail an art style, like a singular art style for what Malkora is going to be, what it's going to look like. Ideally, the art style that I choose is going to be something that's not terribly difficult to draw in. Like, it's not going to take me 10 years to draw something, anything. One piece is not going to take me 10 years to make. And I want it to have like a personal flavor, you know? Like, the pieces I'm kind of used to working in are these like completely, totally rendered pieces that, honestly, I feel like with the takeover of AI art, it's kind of like the style that I would typically try to emulate is kind of like the style that's very popular to recreate with AI. And even so, I just wasn't a crazy fan of just regular old fully rendered illustrations like in the semi-realistic realism kind of way. I always wished that I had like a signature style, you know? And so maybe this is my way of doing that, accomplishing that, just tying it to my world building, which is very convincing. One thing I will put forward, rendering in pixel art can be very easy and can be super limited. Yeah, that is true. It's absolutely true. It's just that pixel art is also going to be like a new skill that I have to acquire, learn, and train. This image that I'm kind of like looking at right now, just eyeing up, this is kind of like it's kind of like a line art like drawing style that I'm rusty, but it's one that I've worked in and am familiar with. Where like we have the heavy lines, not crazy on the shading. I am pretty sure I can do that. I could probably even do it physically, like on paper, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I like the idea of having an art style for this that I can make like in a sketchbook. Just when I'm hanging out, being off my computer, essentially. Because obviously something like this, I could do this up in watercolors, you know what I mean? And that I do have like a watercolor set, a nice like kind of expensive one that I've just purchased and had rotting in my house for like a year longer. I could just straight up start making watercolor paintings. Watercolor illustrations. And that could be really fun. That could be really cool, like a little exploration in returning to physical media. Hell, I could make like linoleum cut prints. I could go back to printmaking. Printmaking was so fun. And it's something that I haven't done in like an age and a half, like ever since I graduated from college. And it's something I miss dearly. Like it was my favorite thing to do. Let's see. Alright, internet, show me more things. Please. Let's see. Okay, take this off my screen. But yeah, art style. Art style from Alcora. That is pretty much goal number 1. That is what I want my mission to be for this year. We make some art, pick a style. Looked at your bird so much I've associated sketch style with you. Oh. Oh yeah, we pick an art style. Pick an art style, we make art. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we do that. We do those 2 things. That's my primary mission for 2023. And then from there...
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you for the sippy. But from there, just making my world more beautiful isn't enough. No, I need to write more. I need to write more stuff. And I think a really good place for me to go in the near future, I need to figure out what my people are. What the people of my world are, what they do and what they look like. And honestly, finding your own style isn't too hard. You just gotta try out a bunch and figure out which one you enjoy making most and find which one fits your world best and stick with it. Yes, absolutely. That is my goal, that is my plan. It's just not something I've ever sat down and done yet. I just kind of come up with art sometimes and paste it in there when I'm like, oh yeah, perfect, that fits, that works. And so we just gotta do it. Just gotta do the thing. But yes. Yeah, so my main writing goal is going to be figuring out who the people of my world are. You know, because of course, I have been working on this world, on Malcora, for honestly many, many years. On and off. So I joined WorldAnvil 5 years ago. Almost 6. I think this year will be my 6th year. When my world anniversary comes around. You've put the art bug into my heart. Good. Good. Let it thrive within your heart. But yeah, so I've been working on this world for 5, almost 6 years on and off. Maybe even longer. I don't know how long I was working on this before I ever like joined the platform. Straight up cannot remember. A lot of things have changed from the time that I created my world in concept and everything to where it is now. And so there are a lot of ideas that I started out with that I no longer see fitting my world. They are no longer kind of like in my vision, but they are still like in my articles, in my like physical world on WorldAnvil. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of outdated information, outdated articles. And yeah, there's just so much of it that I need to clean up or reorganize, maybe even delete and rewrite. Because so much has changed. Because, like, I've given the origin story for my world before, but if you don't know, it started out as a little, like, homebrew setting for D&D 5e. It started out like I ran some of my college friends through like a little mini campaign for a little while, getting a feel for this brand new place that I've kind of invented in my brain. I'd barely written anything for it yet, and we were just kind of coming up with things as we went. A lot of who their characters were is now like baked into what I've written for my world. Like I made a lot of early decisions in my world building based around like the characters that they wanted to play, who they were, what they are. And same goes for when I was doing my thesis project, and I based it around a kind of like long-running D&D campaign. But that one was not a part of my world to begin with. I just started world building around the concept of what those characters were and how a character like that would look in Malcora. So if we took this archetype that this person was playing, we'll say Paladin, ASMR Paladin of the Light, what would that translate into in my world? How would that make sense? We remove it from the context of D&D. We put it in the context of my world. What would that look like? And that is how I began my world building, pretty much. And so yeah, we have since then like completely divorced from the like D&D like world canon, any of that. And the whole goal since then has been to create this world of my own. So we're not basing it off of like a previous framework. We're doing it from scratch, pretty much. And that means even back then, there was a lot of stuff that I had to go delete and rewrite because I was referencing like, you know, orcs and dwarves and humans and all that kind of stuff. And like those don't reel. Well, humans do reel in my world. Humans are people. The idea I do have now for the people of my world is that they are all like humans, or at their base level, they're all human. But we just got different flavors of human now. Because magic is a thing. And through many a generation, different little bits and bobs of magical bloodlines have infiltrated. Lemon-flavored human, very sour, yes. And so yeah, these different types of magic have just kind of infiltrated the bloodlines over these many generations, and now there are a lot of humans that are just kind of really different from each other. But they're not so different from each other that they're like, yeah, that ain't a person anymore. That's like that's not a human anymore. That's a something else. Like no, they're all people. They're all still kind of one collective unit. They just have different affinities, different abilities, different shapes and forms. But they're still human. And I just need to figure out how I want to wrap my everything, my writing, all around that concept. Because that's not really the concept that I had in the beginning. Oh. I have a rather monumental task ahead of me. I do really like I adore like games, fantasy games that have like a whole bunch of different race options, like playable people.
Refresh
Sounds like a
yourselves.
really fun but giant task. Yes, thank you.
Oh, crispy frog, thank you. I sip for you.
But yes, the actual huge monumental task before me now is getting all of the really outdated information out of my article list, because there's a lot of it, and I would like there to not be as much. So the races that I've already created, I'm going to have to rewrite, because, and let's see, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up the articles that I do have in my world already for races. And we're kind of gonna go over what they look like. We have 3. One of them I am planning to keep pretty much exactly as they are, just in like concept and what they are and what they do. The other 2 are going to be adjusted a little bit. One more than the other. The more than the other is going to be the Boharan, of course. Though, yes, okay. Well, I'll explain what they are first, and then we'll get into it. These originally were like the most human of the humans. Back when I was kind of like going by the typical like fantasy framework, like we got the humans, we got the elves, we got all that kind of stuff. Like these are the humans. Let's see, they were a very faithful race. These were of the 3 magical bloodlines that I have in my world. We have the elemental magics, we have the etheric magics, and we have the divine magics. And so these would be like the prime race you think of when you see like a divine. And these are essentially a race that like the gods are always speaking to them. They're always hearing the gods. The gods are always kind of like keeping a presence around these people and their populations. And while I do think that that's cool, I don't know that I necessarily want one race to be hogging all the attention of the gods. But it also could be fun, you know? There's a lot of ambiguity in my brain about what they actually should be, what they are, what they do. And so essentially I've kind of made this race as like they are deeply and innately connected to the divine. Like they're super devoted to the gods that they are connected to. Some may worship gods other than their own, but that is a common practice seen in all races. And yes. But their little thing is they, like, this is kind of like the wanderlust race. They want to travel everywhere. And so in all of this traveling, that is how they bring the gods to all corners of the world. So I don't know, like, I like that idea, but I don't like my execution of it, if that makes sense. Like, I really like the idea of people being super connected to their gods and just traveling all over the place, constantly, all the time. And that being the way that the gods are physically brought to other places of the world. It's a little, I don't know, it's muddy in my brain. My brain is muddy. I am very squishy in my head. But yeah, I think my gripe with everything that's happened here is I built everything around the Boharan to be like, these are the humans of the world. And so I've built them through that lens of like, yeah, they're humans. They are the classic fantasy human. They are very, gosh, I'm trying to think of the phrase that is often used. Or like a oh, like in World of Warcraft, whenever we talk about humans in that setting, they talk about like human potential. Like they could be anything. They can be anything, they can do anything. It's a human potential. And that's why we had Anduin for so long. No, like humans have always been like the super adaptable, super flexible race in Yeah, like human versatility. Yeah, like they're super versatile. They're super like they can fit into anything, anywhere, do anything, whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It's something to revisit, for sure. We have the Boharan. They were the pinnacle of faith races, as it were. But then of course we have the Nimada. They were I think they might be my favorite. But I want to rework kind of how they function. I think I also maybe want to rename them. I don't know. I don't know. Things to think about while I decide what the peoples of my world will actually look like. And again, I think my shortcoming with this one is I created these things with the idea of like these are the elves. These are the elves of the world. Like they're extremely magical. They're connected to the ley lines. And I kind of wrote them in as like they are like this special thing because of their connection to the ley lines. And then only after I created this race did I come up with the idea of having like numerous races under the tree of being like ley line connected. So they don't have anything especially special that's like just for them. It's just like they're a magical race. And so I want to find something that I can make a little bit more specific, if you will. Yes, they are bound to certain elements and magics, born with innate connections to ley lines that flow all throughout Malcora. They are not to be confused with Iskani, who bear the pure unfiltered essence of the elements in their blood. Yeah, so what did I say about them? I also made them like out to be the super long-lived race. And honestly, I don't know if I want to have like major disparities in the lifespans of the people in my world. That's a very common thing in fantasy, like very common trope. Like there are these races that live like practically forever, and then we have goblins that live for like 15 years. You know what I mean? Like it's very different. Like an elf blinks and 10 goblin families have already perished in that time. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's something I want to do. So many debates, so many concepts. And it seems so silly that I've spent so much time creating my world and I've barely even managed to flesh out how people exist within it, you know? Spend so much time thinking about like magic systems and like I've gotten so far as to make entire regions with cities and peoples who live in these places, but I don't even know what species these humans are. You know? Like I don't actually know what they are, what they do, and what they're like. Longer-lived races offer a different worldview, which isn't often actually explored in stories where they are presented. That is true. We often do not see these things fully explored. Yeah, like I don't know. Like again, it's kind of like the World of Warcraft things, like human potential. Like we see all these stories that are centered around like human perspectives, because that I suppose that makes it like really relatable for us, you know, as humans. Maybe for you guys, I'm a creature. Um, it just makes it a lot more relatable, and so we just don't see the perspective of these like 10,000-year-old dudes, because we don't. Do any of us really know what it is like to live for 10,000 years? I certainly don't. It'd be really cool to see, because I feel like if you are alive for such a long time, you're going to have these like infinite advantages over the people who've been around for like 30 years. So like how do we work around that? It just seems like this crazy hurdle in world building that we just kind of brush away because we're so used to it being a thing in fantasy. But like this 10,000-year-old mage is going to absolutely rock your shit when you're just like this 20-year-old guy, like, I cast Fireball. It's like, okay, I cast Decimate your entire city. Like, hello? How are they gonna live 10,000 years and not know that spell? Crazy. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's ways around it. Maybe people actually do write about ways that just kind of works. I don't know those ways. I wish I did. But yeah, the whole thing about the Nimata, this race, they're very much connected to the ley line energies, and they can physically see the ley lines, like the magic flowing through kind of like beyond the material plane, essentially. So most people, like they can't see or perceive magic like in a physical kind of sense, but the Nimata can. And so they have difficulty staying kind of grounded to the material plane because they just kind of, they get lost in the sauce, as it will. Fireball is the decimate your entire city spell. Probably. Probably. If so many people stop trying to cast it in like small contained rooms, I would absolutely agree with you. Yeah, if the first one doesn't do it, just keep casting. Just keep casting the fireballs. It'll happen eventually. But yeah, so yeah, they have like little sub races based on the different types of ley lines that we've got. I never asked how big the room was. Yeah, true. I said I cast Fireball.
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you.
And yes, so we have... I've only written about 2 different flavors of Nimata, and that's the arcane and the nature magic ones. So the Valsheri, the arcane Nimata, and the Lesai, the nature Nimata. The wild magic, I should say. And yeah, so of course, last but not least, we have, this is actually one of the articles I submitted for Most Beautiful World. And I had this is honestly my favorite piece of art in my entire world. It's just like this concept sketch for what these people look like. And honestly, if I had something like this for every race going forward, that'd be dope. And yeah, so we have the Iskani. They're a race of people which have the essence of the elements flowing in their blood. So they're an elemental world spirit race. As one of the world spirit races, their origins lie in the most primordial energies of the world of Malkora. Yeah, baby. So yes, they are deeply connected to the natural magics by which the world is constructed and functions. As though the ley lines may sometimes influence natural forces of the world, the primordial elements are their own formidable force of magic. And so it is from these forces, from these elements, that the Iskani are born. Yes, so the most common are earth and water. And rarely, they can have 2 elements fighting for dominance. So yeah, basically whatever their element is, it manifests in some physical way as part of their body. And so yeah, you can just be like made of magma. Fiery hair, maybe you got stone skin. But it's not going to be your whole body, it's only going to be a part of your body. So yeah, I don't know. I think these people would be kind of the best representation of what life on Malkora can be, what it can look like. Because the whole premise, and this is something I've been kind of back and forth kind of developing more and more as time goes on, so this is kind of like my current view of what the world is and where it's headed. The premise of Malkora is that the world is kind of constantly being overturned in different ways by the magic of the ley lines. And so entire regions are going to shift in their, like, magical makeup, in their geography, in their forms. And that is going to affect not only the land itself, but everything living in it too. So there are going to be times when the magic decides, okay, we're giving this entire place a facelift. Ley lines just kind of pop up like, hello, how is everybody doing today? And now suddenly everything's on fire, and so are some of the people. Because, well, I guess they have elemental blood that just got awoken, and, well, it's a good thing now they can survive in this, but they can't really go to many other places, because this transformation's kind of permanent. Ooh, haha. So yeah, we kind of have to decide. We kind of have to decide now if we want races to be purely like you were born this way kind of thing, and that's how you stay, like that, like you are this kind of human, this is who you are from birth to death, or if it's a transformative thing. And I kind of really like the idea of it being a transformative thing. And this transformation would only happen when you are exposed to the active, like, emergence of a ley line. I do like that. We'll jot that one down in our notes. Yeah, so I imagine. But of course, if we do it that way, then I would have to reconsider the concept of kind of the bloodlines and how they work. I don't know. More questions. I'm getting more questions than answers by going through all of this. But they're really good questions to be asking. They're really good questions for me to consider. And I think that the more I think about them, the closer I will get to refining what this actual idea is that I need, that I'm going to go for, what I'm going to shoot for, and how we're going to do it. And so yes, those were the 3 races that we kind of had just kicking around. Yes, so our list of things that we want to do now. Primary art style for Malcora and all future articles. Defining who and what the people are and how they come to be. And also, I think I skipped over this one. We need to cut out a lot of the outdated information in my world, of which there is a ton. Decide what we can keep, what we can reformat and reuse, and republish as new and correct. Yeah, so that's our 3 at the moment. And the last one, in no particular order, this last one that I haven't quite gotten into yet, I need to figure out the deities of my world. The whole thing with this world is I want there to be a lot of, like, deific presence. I want there to be a lot of gods just kind of doing stuff. Maybe they're not super impactful on their own individually. Maybe there's just a lot of action with the gods. Maybe a lot of people are just really connected to their faith, to various gods. And a lot of the world can be affected by that. Like maybe there are gods who cause the ley lines to emerge and change the world by doing that. Like maybe that's their influence. Maybe they're stopping certain parts of the world from having emergences, you know? So many options, so many good things that I could do with the juicy gods of the world. I also really need, yeah, I only have like 2 things on here right now because everything else has been like taken down or private because I'm rewriting it. Hee-hoo. I also just really want to get back into making these little, oh gosh, these icons, these holy symbols for my gods. I want to do more graphic design. More holy symbols, please. Let's see. I have more. They're just tucked away, hidden. Give me them under my little gods tab. So let's see. I only have 4 of them in here. Interesting. Yes, we have some of these icons here, and I want to make more of them. These icons were they're kind of a big part of my thesis project back in the day. Like these are old. I made these many years ago now. But they're so much fun. I spent so much time fangirling, like geeking out over some of the other entries for the world building awards that I was nominated to like go up against. Let me see if I can grab some of them. Because the example I'm thinking of right now is Vadzimet. Let me grab explore the universe. Yes, let's see. So here we are. Page is loading. Don't mind that. It's being very slow. So yes, we have of course this. And I spent a lot of time geeking out about stuff like this, like the graphic design, the icons, symbols. I love things like this. Just coming up with different factions and giving them little symbols, making little designs for them is so much fun. And likewise, as far as symbols go, another thing I was geeking out about while looking over the nominations I was up against. We have TJ's map over here. And look, the flags. The flags at the bottom of the map. These are my favorite part. Look at this. I love everything about this. With a little... Yes, this is by TJ. And you know what, since I'm talking about all this stuff, I'm just gonna drop it in the chat for you guys. Here you go. This is the map. It's very cool. It was one of the nominees that I was standing up against in Wawa. Very, very stiff competition, very scary. Like I said to you guys earlier, I spent the entire time in the green room naming off literally every single other person. It's like, no, they're gonna call this person, they're gonna call this person, not me. Cause I genuinely looked at all this stuff like, god damn. How am I competing against this? We can just drop this article down here. Beautiful. Wahoo. And this one. This is the article that I'm staring at right now. But yes. Stunning gorgeous. I think it said somewhere that TJ made these? Faction logos by TJ Trowan. Yeah. So TJ also made these. TJ is just a fantastic graphic designer. Just fantastic artist in general. Very cool. Do recommend. Just, you see his work like kind of floating around all over the place. It's very neat. But yeah. So, again, on the list of goals, I want to do stuff that just creates more graphics, you know? Graphic design. I want to make more symbols. I want to make symbols, flags, just icons of all kinds. Even if it's not in-world icons, I just kind of want to make icons, like map markers, you know? Like, I'd love to make my own versions of little map markers, like this little ship here. Like, oh, that'd be very cute. I'd love to make my own versions of those. Yeah, there's just so many options, so many things that I can do, so many things I want to do, so many directions that I want to take my world, so many directions I want to take Malcora. And of course, the dreaded question, do I want to just create a new world? Just drop everything, just make something new? Of course, I've seen many people in the community do exactly that. And they have a blast with it, so I'm like, ooh, what if I just do something new? Just throw all caution to the wind and just do some random stuff. But no, I must have restraint. I must keep things focused. I must simply be. It's because if I jump to too many different things, I'm going to overwhelm myself. I'm going to have a bad time. And if I have a bad time with my own writing, I think everyone's going to have a bad time looking at my writing. It's just a tough one. But yeah. So how many things does that give us? Is that 4 goals? 4 goals? 5 goals? I'm not good at math, so it's all good. Yeah, I would love to know. I don't know how many of you still in here have like I don't know how many of you that are still in here are on WorldAnvil, but if you are, like I do want to know what your goals are. And I mean like the big goals, the long-term goals. Cuz I don't think a single one of the goals that I've mentioned are like quick ones. Like none of these are just like, okay, we're just going to do it right now. We're just going to get this over with and it's done. No, this is kind of like stuff I'm going to be chipping away at for the rest of my life, I think. Like figuring out an art style takes a lot of years, takes a lot of effort. Cleaning up a humongous backlog of outdated, retconned information, also a monumental task. Designing an entire system of like fantasy races and who they are, where they come from, and how they interact with each other, also a lot of effort and time. Creating entire pantheons of gods also takes a long time. Creating assets, digital assets for every single one of those things and more, that is even more stuff. Like I could dip my toes in like one thing at a time, just do everything. And honestly, that's probably what's going to happen. But yeah. I guess my short-term goal is also going to be something like I'm going to participate in Adventure April next month. And for those of you who do not know what that is a challenge that is, I believe, is hosted every April. Don't quote me on that. Hosted every April by WorldAnvil, where it's just like a little competition, little challenge thing, where you create, I think it's a one-shot? You create a one-shot, and that is like your entry. You make a whole little adventure, and you submit it. You make something that people can play. You put people in your world and be like, here you go. Here's a little thing. Here's a little adventure. Little module that you can put players in. And that sounds really cool. Because as I did say like way earlier, like this used to be a D&D thing. And so I had ideas related to D&D for like little campaigns I could run in this world. And I'm like, what if I just took one of those old ideas and rewrote it to be like relevant to today and like correct and proper, you know? So my most recent goal was updating my world map because I had changed some major landmarks. In the process of creating the new map, I made the problem worse, but hey, that's half the fun, isn't it? Yeah. I have found a lot that every time I try to change something, every time I add something, it just adds like 10 more things to my to-do list. And on one hand, problem? Maybe. On the other hand, more stuff to do? Yay! More content? Huzzah! We're just idea generation that maybe maybe you don't want to work on this all right now. Maybe you're not very appreciative at the moment of all the lists of tasks and things that are piling up the more and more you write. Yeah. At least you're creating. And frankly, these days, that's all I can ask for. Like, at least I'm creating. Because for a very long time, that was just not the case, you know? I really was not accomplishing much. I did not feel like I was able to. But that's okay. Because look where we are now. We made a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I have made so much stuff in the past few years. Or not even the past few years, in this past 1 year since I made kind of like my big return to WorldAnvil. Like, I've made a lot of content. Like, I've made a lot of stuff. I've written a lot of articles. I've made some art. Like, well, yeah, I made the birds. I made some other things. I cannot pull them to the top of my brain right now for the life of me. I cannot. But yeah, if you compare everything that I made last year compared to everything I made the year before, like, the difference is staggering. It's crazy. And I'm hoping that this year I can keep up that momentum. I can continue to create without burning myself out. Keep sight of goals, keep sight of everything that I'm trying to do, trying to accomplish. Because, like, I will not know until I rewatch the VOD of the awards ceremony how eloquently I put literally anything that, like, fell out of my mouth as I was accepting my award. But I will attempt to say more eloquently now. Like, prior to last year, like, when I came back to WorldAnvil, like, officially, I made, like, my big comeback. Like, I said to myself, like, I am done not giving myself to my hobbies. I'm done, like, not having a passion for anything. I'm done not being creative, not giving myself space to create things. Because for like 2-3 years before that, I was not living my best life. I dare say I was barely even living it. It was really bad. It was really difficult. And I was just scraping by, you know? Like, I was on WorldAnvil in that time. Like, I was participating in, like, summer camp, and I missed one World Ember because of the issues I was having. And, like, I'm very sad because that was, I could have had, like, I guess I didn't give out a 5-year badge, like, veteran badge for World Ember, but I could have had it. I could have. But yeah, things were really bad for several years. I was barely scraping by. I was doing, like, the bare minimum on summer camp and World Ember just to say I was there. But last summer I was like, you know what? Nah. I missed World Ember for, like, the first time in my life. That made me feel really, really dejected. And I was like, I'm changing something about how I'm kind of living, you know? I'm going to set goals. I'm going to come back to being creative. I'm gonna do the things that I want to do, and I'm gonna accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. And so I sat down. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get back into writing. I'm gonna start world building again. I'm going to continue to do this thing, like, revive this project that I love and adore with all my soul, but just was not able to get into for several years. And so yeah, summer camp last year, I was like, we're doing it. We're in it. I even went so far as to go to one of the in-person summer camp meetups. I grabbed my friend and my partner. I'm like, we're going to this thing. And I met Janet, I met Demi, I met a bunch of other wonderful world builders. I met Chris, ECC Books. What a cool guy. I love seeing his articles everywhere. Like, I met so many cool people, and Like honestly, the encouragement that I got like from that entire group, like Janet and Dimmy especially, like and like it was straight up like meeting my idols. Like I could not believe that I was just kind of casually hanging out with these two people who created this platform that I love and adore so much. And it was awesome. It was really chill. It was just such a great time. And I went on that month to have like the best summer camp of my life. I not only did all the prompts, like I got the diamond badge, wahoo. Like they were also some of my best articles to date. Like I actually took time. I had several days at the end of the challenge to like make the articles pretty because they were all done. Like my usual for these challenges was like finishing them 2 minutes before the stream cut off, calling off the end of the event. You know what I mean? But no, I had like half a week to finish these articles because they were already done. Like I did it. I got my badge. And that was really awesome for me. Like I defeated the ADHD demon that says, "No, we're not going to finish this until the day before it's due." Cuz I was so ready to just be back in action and like taking my hobbies back from depression by force. Well, Strix, first I want to say I'm glad you came back. Second, I'm sitting here crying because of how true what you're saying is. Oh, I think you have done amazing clawing back to where you
Refresh
are at, and I
yourselves.
applaud and bow to you. Who now this? Thank you. I did need that sip after talking for so long. Yeah, but like I came back. I had like the best summer camp of my life. It was awesome. I I was talking to people. I was hanging around the chat more often. I was like actually making friends. Like I was actually talking to people. That's something I never did. Like I was always a lurker in the Discord server. Like I didn't talk to anybody. Not because I didn't want to, but because I just couldn't be consistent enough to like keep showing up. I would just feel really dejected all the time. Like I didn't feel like I was really part of anything. I was just kind of on the platform because I was like, oh, like yeah, I'm a writer, I'm creative, I'm on here doing my own thing. But yeah, last year I was like, I'm gonna get back into writing. I'm gonna take my hobbies back. I'm gonna make friends. I'm gonna have a good time. And like all of that just culminated in like I have made some of my best work in this past year than I did like pretty much ever. I literally have won 2 awards for the work that I've done. And like you guys, I'm sure you guys understand, like that is the single most affirming thing to me after like everything I went through, everything I felt, and everything that I just felt like I couldn't accomplish. And here I am. I I'm essentially like, because like in previous years it was considered like best of WorldAnvil. Like I've won the equivalents of 2 different awards for best of WorldAnvil, you know? Like literal like giants in the fantasy, like the world building community have decided like this person is a nominee for this. Like I was worthy of a nomination from like industry professionals judging these nomination pools. And then the community said, "Yeah, we agree with you. They do deserve this." I'm like, it's just wild how like the year before I did not think that I had that in me, you know? But now here I am talking about my future goals as I guess like now an award-winning cartographer. Oh yeah, so I guess I can add that to my list of goals. Like I can make more maps. I probably should. I'll make more regions for my world, make more maps. We'll see what other fun things we can come up with, more ideas. Honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to top my map that I submitted to the awards. Just cuz of I don't know, like I just really enjoy it. I just think like I'll come out and say it. You've convinced me. I did a great job with that map. It's a really cool map. I am very proud of the idea that I came up with and how I executed it. And yeah, I would say if I had to do anything differently with that map, I just would have made all the descriptions in character. Like I would have put like the same flavor into all of the individual pins, all of the descriptions with like this, like the cartographer says this about this place, like some little blurb about all that. That's the only thing I would do differently. And maybe if I get to it, I will update that map with exactly that. Like maybe I will make different maybe I'll make my own illustrations to go with each pin. Maybe make some custom map markers. Like really bling out this map. Pimp that map because it deserves it. Because it won me an award. And so yeah, sorry to get like a little bit emotional on main with you guys. I did manage to not actually cry. It was like right there. It was coming. But we were chill. We had a little sippy. We got over it. Yes, take a little celebratory sip. But yeah, like everything that I said about like, you know, my comeback and everything that I managed to accomplish, like obviously like my hard work is like what, you know, physically won the awards, but like
Refresh yourselves.
ah but like it's all the support from the community that really got me like so pumped and so able to just kind of keep on pushing through. Cuz like even like as a creative person, I know through years of experience at this point, like an age of experience, like even when you're having a good time, even when you love what you do, it's not particularly easy to just keep doing it. It's going to be really difficult sometimes to get through work that even work you're passionate about. Sometimes it just really sucks. Because you'll start things, you'll be in love with them. And especially me, someone with ADHD, it is so easy for me to start something, be in love with it, head over heels in love with something I'm doing, and then move on to something else because it's just kind of lost its sparkle. And that's not me saying that I no longer love that thing. It's just it no longer gives me that like burst of like joy to sit there and work on it because now it's work. Now it's something that I have to finish. Now it's something I have to get through and refine. All the fun parts are finished. Now I have to complete it. And that's not exciting for a dopamine-seeking brain. It's not. And that's kind of part of the reason why I have so many things kind of sitting in like the backlogs of my article list. All these really old articles, super outdated articles, that I just, like, I need to go through them all. I need to sift through them. I need to decide what stays and what goes. And yeah, it is a massive undertaking, and it's something that I just need to like discipline myself through. As we come to find in life, as I'm sure everyone in this chat is very well aware, not everything good in life comes easy and without a ton of expended effort. Sometimes the things that are good for you, the things, hell, even things that make you feel good, the things you like, things you want to do, they're not always going to feel good to do. Like, you're not gonna have a fun time. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have to trudge through. Sometimes you have to convince yourself. We just need to get through it. We need to get out of our comfort zones. We need to stop like pretending that we can just keep living the same way we have been for so long. And we just need to grow into something new. And that's what I've been trying to do with my little writing world building comeback. Like, it's hearts. Oh. If you want to get something done, you just have to get up and do it. And so, ta-da! Ta-da, I'm an award winner. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If I can do it, there's not a single doubt in my mind that you can too. It's like I'll tell everyone I'm just this weird creature on the internet who has just been practicing some stuff for a real long time, and so I got real good at a couple things. And now my entire mission is just to make sure that I can keep doing it. I just gotta keep pushing myself upward, keep lifting myself up. And if there's anything I've learned from being on WorldAnvil for so many years, is that there is always going to be a community of people out there who are going to help you do exactly that. They are going to lift you up. And as long as you don't have the Strix heart emote yet, oh. Yeah, there's keep the tears gushing here. Yeah, like this entire community is built on people lifting each other up and helping each other just achieve their best selves, like their best quality of work. Like we have fun here. Like, like that's the whole summary. Like we have fun on WorldAnvil. We write with each other, we share work with each other all the time, we share love and encouragement and support. Sometimes we just have really shitty times, shitty days, and people come into the chat and everyone just dog piles on them like, oh, you're so good, you are amazing, you are having a bad day, but we are here for you. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, even when we're competing against each other, like I said pretty much exactly this on the end of the award ceremony stream. But like, this entire community is built on people like competing with each other, but also like at the literal same time supporting each other through it. Like we are uplifting each other, we are sharing each other's entries, because like obviously we all want to win, but we also want each other to win. And that's that's amazing. Lift the homies to get huge. Yeah, the more you lift each other, the stronger you get. Like it's so amazing. Like it's very rare that we see a community on the internet where people are not actively trying to like tear each other down so that they can be on top, you know what I mean? And like I don't know, like I have never witnessed personally that kind of behavior in WorldAnvil. So I'm guessing that if it has existed, it was probably taken care of very swiftly. But yeah, gotta practice your uppies. Gotta go up. Do your emotional pull-ups. Get the homies up there. Like we're all friends here, and that's such a sweet and like wonderful thing. And so I guess long story short on that is like I really appreciate everyone who's just sitting in this chat right now. Everyone in this chat, everyone who isn't in this chat, who's in the WorldAnvil community, hello. I don't know who, if any of you, are gonna see this if you're not already in here. Hi. Yeah, there's so much love to go around. And so I'm just glad to be here. And so yeah, the whole point of this stream was just kind of just gonna talk at you guys about what I've been doing and what I want to do. Where we're trying to go from here. Cause yeah, first thing I said is like, I have set the bar really high by getting these awards. Like my biggest fear in submitting work to the awards. Like, this is before any of, like, you know, nominations, anything like that. Like, going into this, my biggest fear was my world isn't, like, it's not developed enough compared to a lot of appreciate to the WorldAnvil community. Oh, you clipped it. Oh no. Hi. But gosh, what was I? That's how they'll see it all. Gosh, what was I even? I have completely lost my words. Oh no, where was I? I forgot. I forgot everything. No, you're all good. I promise you, you're all good. Oh yeah, okay. I remember. Yeah, yeah, like like compared to so many of the worlds that I was kind of up against, my world is, on the writing side of things, my world is like nowhere near developed enough for me to have thought that like I'm gonna like pull some wins here, you know? And like I like low key I was correct in the sense that like I won 2 awards that were based primarily on like artistic ventures. Like I won Most Beautiful World. That's about what my world looks like. That's about the design, the CSS, the imagery. That is what I won. And that, like, I'll take that. Like, I can agree. Like, I poured my heart and soul into making my world look beautiful. And also, I won the cartography award. So the map that I made, the map that I drew, like, I made that myself. I drew up the map. I drew, like, all the stuff on it, like all the ink bottle, like all that kind of stuff. I drew all of that myself. Like these were both like artistic wins. So I'm like half correct in that like none of my writing got into the nominations. Not a bad thing. Like absolutely not a bad thing. But so my goal moving forward is to put more focus back into the writing side of things so that I can feel like my world is more developed than maybe it has been. Yeah, so let's see, let's go back to my world. I mean, you know, like I'm very happy with how this looks and like my world, my homepage, very pretty. Well, maybe another goal for myself is make more YouTube videos, because genuinely this YouTube video right here is from like 2 years ago. It's very outdated. And I'm gonna say something right now. Like I rewatched the video that's on my world homepage, like I don't know, like a couple months ago, and I was completely gutted by how vibrant I sounded at that time. Where I was like I'm getting into making videos, like little voiceovers. I was doing speed paints. So I was like, yeah, keep an eye out for like my next video. It's gonna be like whatever it is that I was doing. And then I just completely just hard stopped uploading anything, like right after posting that video. And my heart's just so sad by the fact that that's the case. So I'm gonna be honest, like I think I was starting, like I was a new YouTuber, like I wasn't like fancy really yet, but I thought I was doing like a really good job with the whole YouTube thing. And then I stopped. I think really what happened is I made that video and then I waited a little while and then I rebranded my like kind of art presence. And so all my assets had to be changed. I was gonna have to change all like the little overlays and things in the videos. And I think at that point I was like, I am overwhelmed and burnt out and I don't think I'll be doing this for a little bit. So yes, here's a little map. This being here is definitely like spoilers for the for this map over here. It just completely removes the mystique of what's over there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, by the time I actually get to working on whatever is actually over there, it's probably gonna look different. But yeah. So I want my beautiful world codex, this over here. to just be full of actual, content. Like, I want people to be able to go to my world and actually start reading about what the world is. I need to make myself a world primer. I need to decide where, like again, I need I need deities, I need races, I need my regions. I need all that stuff to be available for people to see. And so that's going to be kind of the next big goal. Is get the information, like untangle the stuff that's in my brain and just kind of do it, you know? And that's the hard part. I have to untangle the brain, which is kind of all over the place. It's it's hard. It's difficult. Yeah. But like I said, just because it is difficult does not mean I should not do it. Because sometimes the difficult things are the things you need to do. Oh, and also I hit 100 followers on my world today. Wahoo! A little resounding wahoo in the chat. Get a little gyoza cheering in there. Yay!
Refresh yourselves.
Celebratory sips. You have finished the mug. Thank you. Yeah, we hit 100 today. And we can thank magical number 100 was Katoblapon. Fantastic Bean. Gosh, who was 101? I think it was Solar Cat was 101. But yes, that's very cool, very exciting. There is this phenomenon in WorldAnvil where we follow each other's work for so long. We see, like, we get all the links in the chat and we're like reading each other's stuff constantly. And then we look one day and we realize, like, why is the follow world button still there? And we just kind of look at it like, I could have sworn I already followed you. And so I'm having a lot of those moments in the past few days where I'm looking at like nominees and stuff for stuff. I'm like, wait, I don't follow this person's world. And like same with authors. Like I like to follow the actual people too. So I get their little like journal entries, their little notifications, their updates. Cause I do just be out here like posting stuff on the reg. I was out here posting about my little stuff, little reading challenge that I did with the nominees. And yeah. Oh, I really like the feature that we can post stuff as a little journal on here, little blog posts essentially. But I don't like that they kind of just cut off after a period of time. Or like maybe it's the quantity of posts. Because I don't actually know if there's a way to go see older posts than this. That is a question for later. For whoever is actually able to answer such a question. Like, is there a way to see the posts prior to this, prior to whenever this was posted? Because I would love to see, like, some of my older posts and just see where I came from, what happened. Because, like, I shit you not, I had my, like, soft quitting of WorldAnvil where I was, like, too depressed to function, so I didn't write anything for a bajillion years. The last journal entry I posted before I hit that phase was me posting about a summer camp article that I had written. And it was for a condition called Seeker's Burnout. About students who try to pursue like entirely too much knowledge, and then it's a magical condition in which they get like way too burnt out by the accumulation of knowledge in their brain that they just straight up cannot study anything anymore. And that was the last thing I posted about, the last thing I published before I vanished off the face of the writing planet. And that is so funny to me. Because I remember coming back and making my first post after that. And I was like, really? The last thing I posted was about this burnout article? Seriously? It's just, it's funny how, just art and life, they are one and the same. Oh, but yeah, new author page follower, thank you. Yeah. So there's just a lot going on. A lot going on, a lot to do, a lot I have done. Like, I'm gonna say it. I did it. I accomplished some stuff. I accomplished some big stuff, and I'm proud of that. Like, I'm really proud of that. Cause, yeah, like I said, a year ago, even at this point, I could not fathom me being in that position where I can quite literally say, like, I was on the big awards ceremony for this platform, winning not one but 2 awards, and like that, the community decided that I deserved that. Like, I had people rallying behind me. I went from being this person that like barely anybody knew to now like, look at me, I'm making all these friends, I'm having a good time, I'm writing, I'm being creative, I'm making goals for like creative goals for my personal project that I love so much. Yahoo! And yeah, it's basically how it is. And so I'm just very eager to get back into the swing of things and hopefully break out of the pattern that I have been in where I pretty much only create during the big events. Like, I wasn't really making pretty much anything in the off seasons. It was basically I come in for summer camp, do summer camp, I leave. I come in for World Ember, I complete World Ember, and I leave. I don't want to do that no more. And I definitely, like, from last year's summer camp onward, I have participated, or I've attempted to participate in every single challenge, like the monthly challenges that have been going on. And that is a pattern I would like to maintain. Even if I don't put everything into all the challenges, like even if I'm not out there like trying to win, I at least want to make something. I want to make something, I want to keep developing my world. I want to build this project into like a real tangible thing that I can share with other people and not have to preface it by saying, well, this isn't like super developed, but this is something I've been working on for a while. You know, like I want to just be able to hand this to someone. Like I want to make a little handbook. Like imagine a player's handbook from D&D. Give me this. Oh, player's handbook. We'll just scribble out the D&D at the top and say Malcora Player's Handbook. If I could make something like that, that would be so sick. That would be my absolute goal. So I would love Malcora TTRPG. That would be so cool. See, my only issue, as far as like games go, is I am not a mechanics-minded person. Like, I'm absolutely not a mechanics-minded person, either, like, whether it's creating the mechanics or adhering to the mechanics. It's just not something that really interests me as, like, a player or a writer, I also should say. So I'm not against it. I'm absolutely not against it. I would just need some, like, co-conspirators when I get to that stage of my writing. So rule of cool, yeah, I mean, basically, like, I really like kind of like narrative focus, roleplay focus. Like, everything is all about kind of the flavor of like what can we do in this world that just, like, we take all the numbers out of it. What can we do? So I feel like putting mechanics on a fantasy setting is very restrictive in a way. Not to a complete detriment, but it kind of restricts a lot of the ways you can think about how everything works. Because then you start thinking about, like, you know, action economy, like how much can you accomplish in any given time with any given like numbers, and I don't know. It's a lot to think about. But I certainly wouldn't mind having a table of players one day interacting with my world the way one does with like D&D and like, you know, other tabletops. That would be so dope. Cuz that's where my world came from. And so I imagine if I did it again one day, but like with its own system, with its own everything, and a more developed and fleshed out world. Yeah, I want to play in your world. I'm in. Well, I'm gonna say this, you're probably gonna be the first person on my list that I request to join the party if and when I do this. It just might be a while before I figure out exactly what that's gonna look like.
Refresh yourselves.
Oh no, you you emptied my sip. I have to actually go get more. So alright, nobody cause trouble while I'm away. You guys causing trouble? you guys being rowdy over here? Oh, I have water.
Refresh yourselves.
Ah, you waited for me to come back. Yes, I got water this time. It's actually because I'm out of juice, but still. But yeah. Watch me bring in my Thrycreen Artificer. I don't know those words. Well, I know Artificer, but yeah. Absolutely on my list of things that I want to do in the future. I would absolutely love to find my preferred medium for getting people into this world, like interacting with it, exploring it. That would be so cool, so dope. And I think having a little, like my version of a TTRPG would be really cool way to do that. And so we're gonna put that maybe into like the hyper endgame kind of goal. Or maybe it's not like hyper endgame, but we're gonna put that goal kind of like at the end of where I say I'm gonna try to develop more of my world. And from there, once we have a solid starting point, which actually is something that I have been working on kind of slowly, kind of slow going, because my article, let me pull up my own article real quick. We see over here the Kingdom of Arsavella. The Kingdom of Arsavella, this whole region, this whole place, is in my mind intended to be baby's first adventure. Like, you have just entered Malcora for the very first time. You don't know where you are or what's going on. This is where you land as a player.
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you. So yes, you begin your journey of Malcora as a player, as a visitor, as whoever you are in the real life coming into this world. You come to the Kingdom of Arsavella. And my goal is to have adventures staged here that can be like your little level 1 adventuring party. Like maybe you meet in the city. Maybe you're a farmhand and you just discover that there's weird stuff out there. Cause the weird stuff isn't super apparent in this place. Unless someone came and like showed you or you saw something that's super unusual. You just have no idea that such strange, bizarre things. Wait, we meet in a tavern? Crazy. You very well could meet in a tavern. I got this map here. I got really into the whole making maps thing. Incarnate is a cool tool. It is something that I do like to use. But yeah, so you meet up in the city of Aurel. In the tavern, and you look to your right, you look to your left, and there are fellow adventurers. What are your names? Beautiful. I'll have to make it happen someday. Yes, this is meant to be baby's first adventure. Your name's Skittles? Oh, here's a little fun fact about me. At least one of you may already know this. But in Pokemon games, every single Pokemon game in which you are able to catch a Skitty, any game in which you are able to obtain that precious little cat, every single Skitty I catch, I name Skittles. It does not matter how many of them I have, they're all Skittles. Every time I replay Gen 3, I go to that route, outside of Rustboro City, I catch a Skittles. My baby. But yeah, so, if you follow my world for long enough, well, if they're not there already, you gotta put cat people in your world. We'll see. What I need to do is add bird people. We need to add bird people. Somehow, some way. Yes, if you follow my world for long enough into the future, and you watch as it develops and grows, you very well could be among the few who get to experience being dropped into this part of my world and say, alright, we're gonna go have some fun. We're gonna go learn what's out here. We're gonna figure out what we can do with all of it. And I hope that is an experience that all those involved will get to enjoy one day. It'll be so fun. And so yeah, I have this article. I'll drop it in here. This is the article in question. This was also one of my submissions for Beautiful World. I'm quite happy with the appearance of it. And apparently so were all of you guys. So I really appreciate it. Like straight up, genuinely, like I appreciate every single last individual vote for this world. Because every single last individual vote was needed for me to be up there on that stage. Down to the one. If just one of you decided, nah, I'm not gonna do that, I may not have won. And so thank you everybody. I appreciate you. And yeah, so I'm just having a good time. I'm really excited about all the things that I want to do, all the things I plan to do. There's just so much of it all in my brain at the same time that I'm going to have to do some very serious prioritization of time, figuring out what exactly I need to do, what angles to start striking this obstacle at. It's a lot. It's a very intimidating task. Like, no joke. It's spooky, it's scary. But I know I have you guys kind of like sitting there heavy breathing, waiting for me to upload more stuff, so that'll keep me going. Just waiting for me to hit that publish and notify followers button. Very cool, very fun and exciting. Just, yeah, I want to write more. I want to get to know my world better. and I want to fill it with more art. But also I do have a little guy. A little guy here. I pixelated my pigeon. Isn't he beautiful? Look at those beautiful pixels. I made a little edit. Little draw over, little like imagine this little icon for a little pigeon guy. He's precious. I don't know, I'm so in love with my Aurelian pigeon. He's just a good little guy. He's a cool little fella. And so if I choose to do the pixel art route, it's still very much up in the air at the moment. If I decide on the pixel art route, I'm just gonna have to do some studying. I'm gonna have to figure out what exactly I want my pixel art to look like. If I want it to be like I have, you know, line art and I try to like shade stuff. Or I don't know if I want it to be more like flat colors and all that kind of stuff. Again, there's so many styles. I could go for like semi-realism. I could also just do the complete opposite of that. I can go very cartoony, very okay, I don't want to go cartoony. That that was immediately vetoed by my brain. I don't want to go cartoony. But yeah. There's a lot of avenues that I can take going forward. And I really look forward to sharing all of that with you guys. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what we can do with that, you know? And so now, let's talk extremely short-term goals. Saturday stream. I don't fully know what I'm gonna do for Saturday stream yet. I'm thinking, since one of my main goals, of course, is to have a world primer. Like an article that explicitly is an introduction to Malcora, no spoilers, no anything, just like you are a new person landing in this world. This is what to expect. That is definitely an article that I would like to work on, something I would like to do. Something I'd like to take care of sooner rather than later. However, I also understand that some of the things that I want to develop and work on, like the people of the world, what they are and what they look like, act like, feel like, are, where they come from, like that might be an important kind of tidbit to include. Because of course, it's hard to describe what a world like this is like without identifying like this is what humanity looks like here. So maybe we'll do some brainstorming. Maybe Saturday stream. I will be streaming Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time. And 2 to 4 approximately. So maybe Saturday. We are going to get our little pen and paper out. We're gonna start looking at what I want races to be in my world. What I want them to look like, what I want the folks to be. And if we can figure out what that looks like, maybe then we can also start to figure out how we can, write about them, how we can put this primer together, how we can introduce people to the world of Malcora, and kind of pave the way for more writing, more future stuff. Yeah, so I have a very monumental task ahead of me. But I can do it. I can do it, I believe. I'm punching the... Anyway. So let's, I think this may just be the end of today's stream. Because I did not eat after work today. I'm still very hungry. I'm hungry. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm suffering. But oh my gosh, I had like a really great time talking to you guys today. it's not very often that I get to just sit down and kind of like unload all this like info dump, all my information, and just feel free to do so. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. I appreciate you guys having a listen, having some interest in what I do. More than anything, like genuinely more than anything, what means the most to me as a creative is having people around me that are not only there to listen, but also to just talk back to me about what I'm doing, about, you know, what I'm creating. It doesn't even have to be necessarily feedback, but, you know, asking questions about everything that I just spouted at you, like that, I consider that feedback. Like if I talk to you all about this one thing that I'm thinking of in my brain, and you ask me, you know, have you thought about this? The answer is either going to be, oh yeah, you know, I did think about this, and like such and such and such came out of that. Or the answer is gonna be, no, I didn't think about that. You know, this could be yada yada yada. And that little like sounding board is just so important. Just so instrumental to the creative process. And that's exactly what it feels like to just be sitting here with you guys in chat, and I just start saying shit, and you guys are like, oh, but this thing and that thing. Like, I have this idea. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, that's crazy, because like this and this and this thing. It's really great. It feels really good to just be hanging out with you guys. And so, I think on that note, I may just have to send you all away, for this is going to be the end of my stream. Again, absolutely most heartfelt thanks to everyone who is present and has enjoyed my stream today. I have indeed been Strixline, and you can find me over on WorldAnvil, over at this cool fancy set of links over here. I also encourage you to join my Discord server. Is where I post about all kinds of updates and things, basically everything I'm working on, all my announcements, all my everything, and I have tons of little chat spaces that you can just kind of come in and talk about whatever you want. Drop your art in there, drop your articles in there. You can self-promote in there too. And yeah, so there's a lot of fun to be had. And so I would like, if you would all wish to join, I would like to send you over to my friend Grinning Hazard, playing King of the Castle. He's still in his partner push, and Twitch basically told him, nah, you need more engagement. You need more new people chatting in your stream, so I would really appreciate if everyone just kind of hopped over along with me, came over to Grinning Hazard's stream, and just left some nice words. Just come say some nice stuff in the chat. You can stick around if you like. I recommend that you do. Grinning Hazard's very cool. But yeah, let's get this raid started. So yes, once again, thank you so much. I have been Lime, and this is my pigeon. Thank you for watching, everybody. You have a wonderful night, wonderful time zone. Bye-bye.
Refresh yourselves.